The truth is simple. If you want to win, you have to focus on yourself first. Too many people waste time worrying about what others are doing, what they think, or what might be holding them back. But the real secret to success isn't about waiting for the perfect moment or someone else's approval. It's about putting your energy where it counts. Every day you have the power to decide what gets your attention. So what are you focusing on? Is it your goals, or is it the noise around you? The more you invest in yourself, the more you'll see your life change. You'll stop being pulled in 1,000 directions, and you'll start moving toward the things that really matter. Stick around, because in this video I'll show you exactly how to focus on you until you win. Number 1, own your time and stop pleasing everyone today. You know what's difficult for most people? Taking full control of their own time. Not because they don't have a schedule, but because their time isn't really theirs. It belongs to everyone else. Their boss, their friends, their family, people's opinions, the pressure to be liked, the fear of saying no, the guilt of not being available for everybody. And before they even get the chance to focus on themselves, the day's already gone, the week's over, the year disappeared, and they're still standing in the same spot, wondering why they feel stuck, lost, exhausted. I'll tell you why. Because they've spent too long trying to make everyone happy while neglecting themselves. They've been too busy showing up for others while showing up late for their own lives. That's the trap. That's the silent trap that keeps people from becoming what they're capable of becoming. You see, if you don't take control of your time, someone else will. And if someone else owns your time, they own your attention. If they own your attention, they own your decisions. And if they own your decisions, they control your direction. And that's where most people give their life away without even realizing it. You have to start being selfish in the right way. Not careless, not rude, but protective. Protective of your growth. Protective of your energy. Protective of your time. Because time is all you've got. And once it's gone, it's not coming back. People will demand your time without asking if you have enough of it for yourself. They'll expect you to answer messages, attend events, be available on short notice. Drop what you're doing to listen to problems they created. And if you say no, they'll call you selfish. But here's the truth. They only say that because they've benefited from your silence. They've gotten used to you saying yes. They've gotten comfortable with you ignoring your needs, so you can meet theirs. You have to break that pattern. You have to stop pleasing everyone, because people pleasing is slow self-destruction. It's the reason you feel drained. It's the reason you stay up late worrying. It's the reason your goals keep collecting dust. If you're serious about your future, you can't keep handing your time away like it's unlimited. Every yes you say to someone else is a no to yourself. And if you keep saying no to yourself, eventually you forget who you are. You lose that fire, that clarity, that drive. You wake up one day and you're just a body going through the motions. No purpose, no passion, just survival. You're not here to survive. You're here to win. And to win, you have to focus. And to focus, you have to say no. Say no to things that don't help you grow. Say no to conversations that waste your energy. Say no to invitations that steal your peace. Say no to people who don't respect your time. You don't need permission to put yourself first. You don't owe anyone an explanation for protecting your life. People will adjust. The right ones will understand. And the ones who don't, they were never for you. Think about it. How much of your time in the past year have you spent doing things you didn't want to do for people who wouldn't do the same for you? How much progress have you lost because you were afraid to disappoint someone? How many days have you felt angry at yourself for not doing what you said you would because someone else pulled you away from it? That's what you have to change. That's what you have to fix. You can't keep abandoning yourself for others. You can't keep hiding your ambition just to make other people comfortable. People say, I don't have time. No, you do. You just gave it away. You gave it to fear. You gave it to opinions. You gave it to people who don't even respect your effort. You gave it to guilt. From today, you take it back. You wake up and decide, my time is mine. You decide where your hours go. You decide what gets your attention. You decide how much energy you give to something. You take your schedule seriously. You take your goals seriously. You stop making yourself available to people who don't bring value to your life. This is the turning point. You don't wait until it's convenient. You don't wait until everyone else is happy. You start now, because the longer you wait to focus on you, the further you get from winning. You're not here to carry everyone's expectations. You're here to live your truth. You're here to build something real. You're here to move forward, not stay stuck. And that requires sacrifice. The sacrifice of being misunderstood. The sacrifice of being called selfish. The sacrifice of being alone for a while. But it's worth it, because once you start owning your time, everything changes. You become clearer. You start producing. You build momentum. You move with purpose. You feel stronger, more stable, less reactive, more intentional. Most people are reactive. They wake up and immediately check their phone. They answer calls. They respond to everyone else's needs. And by the time they get a moment for themselves, they're too tired to think, too drained to create, too distracted to grow. You need to flip that. You need to own your morning, own your schedule, own your goals. You don't owe people your availability. You owe yourself your discipline. Your time should be focused on progress, not approval. It won't be easy at first. People will complain. They'll call you distant, cold. They'll say you've changed. That's fine. You are changing. You're evolving. You're becoming someone who values their time, someone who respects their purpose. You'll feel guilty at first. That's normal. That guilt is a signal that you've been overgiving, that you've been too available, that you've trained people to expect you to always say yes. But guilt fades. Regret doesn't. And if you keep putting others first, you'll live with regret. You've got work to do, goals to hit, a life to build. And that doesn't happen by chance. It happens by choice. And that choice starts with you saying, no more wasted time. No more endless conversations that go nowhere. No more being everyone's emotional dumping ground. No more showing up for others while showing up late for your own dreams. It's time to own your time. Time to focus. Time to get serious. Not tomorrow. Not someday. Now, because the clock's ticking, whether you move or not. And if you don't move, someone else will take your place. You don't have to be rude to be strong. You don't have to be loud to be clear. You just need to be consistent, clear in your boundaries, firm in your decisions, honest with yourself about what really matters. You want freedom? Discipline gives you that. You want peace? Boundaries protect that. You want growth? Focus makes that happen. So today, make the shift. Make yourself the priority, not in words, in action, in how you structure your day, in how you use your time, in how you protect your space, in how you choose what to focus on. Nobody's coming to rescue your dreams. Nobody's gonna knock on your door and say, here's the life you want. That's your job. That's your mission. That's your responsibility. So stop delaying it. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop trying to be everything to everyone. Start becoming everything you were meant to be. And that begins by owning your time and saying no to anything that slows you down. Don't let another year pass doing the same thing. Don't let another month slip by, filled with fake smiles and silent frustration. Don't live another week trying to fix everyone else's life while yours falls apart behind closed doors. This is your wake-up call. Focus on you until you win. Not halfway, not part-time, full commitment, full focus, real action, real discipline, real results. Because the world doesn't reward people who try to please everyone. The world rewards people who are clear, focused, and unapologetic about what they want. Be one of those people. Be the one who took their time back and built a life that reflects their values. Own your time. Focus on you until you win. Number 2, push yourself daily without waiting for anyone's support. Most people never reach their true potential because they keep waiting. They wait for someone to believe in them. They wait for a friend to push them. They wait for the right person to support their ideas. They wait for applause before they take their first step. But here's the reality. Life doesn't reward people who wait. Life rewards people who move. You can't sit around hoping someone will show up and motivate you. You can't keep expecting the world to notice your effort when you haven't even given your best yet. If you're going to win, if you're going to become the person you say you want to be, then you've got to do it alone. Not forever, but long enough to become strong without needing anyone to lift you. Some days, nobody's going to check in on you. Nobody's going to ask if you did the work. Nobody's going to pat you on the back or cheer you on. And if you're dependent on that kind of approval, you'll break the moment silence shows up. You'll slow down the moment you feel overlooked. That's why you need to train yourself to keep going without being seen. Real growth happens when nobody's watching, when the room is quiet, when the phone doesn't ring, when your notifications are empty. That's where discipline is born. That's where the foundation of your future gets built. You have to push yourself every single day, not when you feel ready, not when someone reminds you, not when the environment is perfect. You push because that's what winners do. You push because you've made a decision to change your life, no matter what. Some people say they want success, but they wait for the world to believe in them before they act. That's not how this works. The world believes in results, not intentions. The world listens to action, not plans. If you're serious about changing your life, you've got to act even when no one claps, even when no one understands, even when you feel completely alone. And it will feel lonely sometimes. It will feel like no one gets what you're trying to build. It will feel like you're the only one carrying the weight. But that's where your strength gets tested. That's where you earn your confidence. Confidence doesn't come from compliments. It comes from consistency. It comes from doing the hard thing every day, even when you'd rather do something else. Even when your body is tired. Even when your mind says, why bother? You do it anyway. That's how self-respect grows. You're not going to be motivated every day. That's the truth. You're not going to wake up every morning with energy. You're not going to always feel like pushing. But the results only come when you do it anyway. The progress only shows up when you push through the resistance. There are going to be days when it seems like nothing is working, like you're moving and getting nowhere. But what you can't see is that every day you push, you're building something inside you. You're building a habit. You're building mental strength. You're building belief. The people who wait for support never get far. Because even when they get it, they lean on it too much. And the moment it disappears, they collapse. You can't be one of those people. You have to be the kind of person who builds their own fire, who keeps showing up because they made a promise to themselves. You don't need someone to check on you every day. You need to check on yourself. You need to be brutally honest about what you're doing and what you're avoiding. You need to take full responsibility for your habits, your time, your focus. It's easy to say you're trying. It's harder to actually do the work when nobody sees you doing it. It's hard to keep grinding in silence. But that's what separates the winners. The people who become successful aren't the most talented. They're not the ones with the most connections. They're the ones who stayed consistent when others waited for help. Stop looking around for motivation. You're the motivation. You're the one who has to get up, push through, and finish what you started. The world will not give you anything unless you take action first. The world rewards value. If you want to be valuable, you have to be willing to work harder than most people are willing to. This is where it starts. This is where you separate yourself. Not with talk, not with plans, with action, with discipline, with the daily push to move forward, even when no one's watching. When you rely on people to believe in you, you hand them your power, and when they leave, they take your belief with them. That's why your belief has to come from you. You have to be your own biggest supporter. You have to trust your process when no one else does. You have to keep showing up, even when it feels pointless, because that's when it matters most. People will doubt you. That's their job. People will question you. That's normal. But you can't afford to spend your life explaining yourself. You have to show them. You have to let your results speak. And those results, they come from daily effort. Not when it's easy, not when it's fun, daily, when you're tired, when it's dark, when it feels like nothing's changing. You still push. This is not about being perfect. It's not about being the fastest or the smartest. It's about being relentless, about having the kind of hunger that doesn't fade when things get quiet. You want something real. You have to work for it when no one's clapping. You have to keep your vision strong when the people around you don't see it. Nobody is going to chase your goals for you. Nobody is going to carry you to success. That's your job. That's your fight. That's your responsibility. You've got to wake up and say, I'm doing this with or without help. I'm showing up no matter who supports me. I'm building my future even if no one sees it yet. That's the mindset that wins. That's the energy that moves mountains. Not entitlement, not waiting, action, ownership, discipline. Your goals don't care how you feel. They don't care who shows up for you. They don't care how tired you are. They only respond to effort. You can't afford to wait for inspiration. You can't afford to wait for the perfect timing. You can't afford to wait until you feel confident. Confidence comes from action, from facing your fear and doing it anyway. Every excuse you use is stealing your future. Every delay is costing you progress. Every moment you hesitate, someone else is moving forward. This is your time. You've wasted enough already. Enough waiting, enough wishing, enough needing someone to believe in you first. You believe in you. You show up for you. You fight for you. That's the difference between those who try and those who win. This life doesn't slow down for anyone. And if you don't move with urgency, you'll look back with regret. That's the truth. You don't need someone to say, you can do it. You need to look in the mirror and say, I will do it. Period. You've got one shot at this, one chance to give it everything, one opportunity to make your time here count. No one else is responsible for your results. No one else is going to wake up and push you forward. That's on you. Push yourself when it's hard. Push yourself when you feel like quitting. Push yourself when no one understands. Push yourself because your future depends on it. The people who win in life didn't get there because it was easy. They got there because they pushed when others quit. They fought when others gave up. They believed when others laughed. Be that person. Be the one who doesn't back down. Be the one who wakes up and gets it done. Not for applause, not for likes, for results, for growth, for real change. Because in the end, the only person who can truly change your life is you. And that change starts when you stop waiting and start pushing every day, no matter what. Number 3, cut distractions and work on your real priorities. Most people stay stuck because they're too distracted to focus on what actually matters. They think they're working hard, but they're not. They think they're progressing, but they're not. They're just busy. Busy checking things that don't push them forward. Busy with notifications. Busy replying to things that aren't urgent. Busy scrolling through other people's lives, while their own sits on pause. That's the truth. That's what keeps people average. You can't expect to build a strong life when you're constantly pulled in 100 directions that mean nothing. There's always going to be something fighting for your attention, something pulling at your time, something making noise, trying to distract you. But at the end of the day, the people who win are the ones who learn to shut it out. Not because they're special, not because they're gifted, but because they made a decision. A decision to stop wasting energy on things that don't get them anywhere. You have to wake up and be honest with yourself. What are you really giving your time to? What are you checking that adds no value? Who are you answering that drains your energy? What are you doing that gives you short-term comfort, but long-term regret? You can't keep living like you've got all the time in the world. You don't. None of us do. Every minute you waste is a minute you never get back. You've got goals, right? You've got things you want to achieve. Then why are you giving your time to distractions? Why are you letting your focus break every few minutes for things that won't matter next week? It's not enough to want a better life. You have to protect your time, like your future depends on it, because it does. Your real priorities are waiting for you. They're not loud. They don't scream for your attention. They're quiet. They sit in the background while you chase things that look urgent, but aren't. Your goals don't beg for your focus. They wait, and every day you ignore them, they get harder to reach. Every day you pick distractions over discipline, you lose ground. You can't keep living like this. You can't keep checking your phone every 5 minutes and expect deep progress. You can't keep saying yes to everything and everyone and expect to have the energy to build something meaningful. You have to say no. No to things that aren't aligned with your vision. No to things that waste your time. No to people who drain your peace. It's not easy. I know it's not, but it's necessary. You have to decide what matters and then commit to it without apology. You don't need everyone's approval. You don't need to be liked by everyone. You need to respect yourself enough to prioritize your life. And if that means being less available, then be less available. If that means spending more time alone with your work, then do it. If that means missing out on some fun now, that's fine. You're not here to impress people. You're here to build something that lasts. There are things only you can do, goals only you can chase, a life only you can live. So why are you handing that over to distractions? Why are you giving up your edge for a few moments of comfort? Stop treating your focus like it's cheap. Stop trading your time for things that don't move your life forward. If something isn't helping you grow, it's holding you back. If it's not teaching you something, building you, or bringing peace into your life, it's a distraction. And the faster you cut those distractions, the faster you get your power back. You don't need more time. You need more focus. You don't need more opportunities. You need to stop wasting the ones you already have. When you sit down to work, don't open 5 tabs. Don't check your feed. Don't reply to every message. Focus. Be ruthless with your attention. Give everything you've got to the task in front of you. That's how you make progress. That's how you get better. That's how you rise. Every successful person you admire got there because they learned how to say no. No to distractions. No to comfort. No to things that seemed urgent but weren't important. They protected their time and gave their best to what mattered. And they didn't wait for someone to do it for them. They made the decision themselves. You've got to do the same. Take a hard look at your life. What's stealing your focus? What habits are pulling you off course? What needs to be cut so you can move forward? Be honest. Then act. Don't make a list and forget it. Don't say you'll start next week. Start now. Shift your environment. Change your habits. Reclaim your schedule. You know what's hard? Wasting years of your life and looking back with regret. You know what's hard? Having potential and never using it because you kept chasing distractions. That's the real pain. Not sacrifice. Not hard work. Regret. And if you don't take control now, that's where you'll end up. Nobody's going to come and manage your time for you. Nobody's going to grab your phone and lock it away. Nobody's going to organize your life while you scroll through your feed. That's your job. That's your responsibility. You're the one who has to own your attention. You're the one who has to say, this is where I'm going and I won't let anything pull me off track. Your energy is limited. You don't get an unlimited amount every day. And if you give it to the wrong things, you won't have enough left for what truly matters. You can't build your dream when your mind is constantly distracted. You can't sharpen your skills when you're always multitasking. You can't create your best work in a cluttered space. It doesn't work that way. Cut the noise. Cut the drama. Cut the shallow conversations. Cut the habits that steal your mornings. Cut the apps that waste your hours. Cut the people who don't respect your time. You owe it to yourself to go all in on what actually matters. You don't need more information. You need more execution. You don't need more motivation. You need better systems. You don't need more options. You need more discipline. And that discipline starts by saying no more often. No to the meaningless. No to the distractions that feel good but go nowhere. Every day you delay is a day you could have used to get better. Every day you're distracted is a day your priorities fall behind. Every day you choose easy, you push your goals further out of reach. It doesn't have to be that way. You can take control. You can structure your days. You can lock in your focus. You can wake up and attack your priorities with urgency. But it takes a decision, not tomorrow, right now. No more wasting time. No more putting things off. No more waiting for motivation. You've got to move. You've got to act. You've got to eliminate what's in your way. This is your life. This is your shot. Don't throw it away for something that won't matter next year. Don't sacrifice your future for temporary comfort. Don't let distractions win. The world is full of noise. It always will be. But you don't have to listen. You don't have to respond. You don't have to follow the crowd. You can choose discipline. You can choose clarity. You can choose your own path. Success doesn't come to the most talented. It comes to the most focused. The ones who lock in. The ones who stay on track. The ones who say no more than they say yes. The ones who work with intensity, while everyone else is distracted. Be that person. Be the one who turns off the noise. Be the one who creates real progress, while others waste their days. Be the one who lives with purpose, not by accident. You already know what matters. You already know what needs your attention. You already know what's been pulling you away from your priorities. Now it's time to act on it. Cut it. Replace it with something better. And then go all in. Because once you cut the distractions and focus on what matters, you become unstoppable. You stop being reactive and start being intentional. You stop drifting and start driving your life forward. This is how you win. One focused day at a time. One intentional choice at a time. One powerful no at a time. That's the formula. That's the path. And it starts with you. Number 4, protect your peace and ignore the outside noise. One of the most important things you'll ever do in your life is protect your peace. Not your income, not your schedule, not your comfort, your peace. Because if your mind is noisy, your focus breaks. If your heart is heavy, your decisions suffer. If your energy is scattered, your potential never shows up. A peaceful mind creates a powerful life. That's not philosophy. That's reality. In this world, you'll hear 1,000 voices trying to tell you what to do, what to chase, what to become. Some voices will tell you you're not enough. Others will tell you you're too much. Some will mock your silence. Others will attack your drive. That noise, if you don't shut it out, it'll break you down. You'll start to question yourself, doubt your path, hesitate when you should move. And soon enough, you'll be living someone else's version of your life. You've got to protect your inner world more than anything. Your peace of mind isn't some luxury. It's a foundation. Without it, nothing works right. You can be rich and miserable. You can be successful and scattered. You can look like you're winning and still feel like you're drowning. So the goal is not just to build the outer life. The goal is to stay strong on the inside, stable, focused, grounded, calm. Outside noise comes in many forms. It's not just people talking. It's opinions that don't matter. It's criticism from people who've never built what you're building. It's pressure to keep up. It's fake standards. It's negative energy. It's the endless stream of updates, comments, comparisons, and distractions. It's everywhere. And the more you grow, the louder it gets. You've got to be smart. You've got to say, I'm not here to react to everything. I'm not here to answer everyone. I'm not here to prove myself to people who aren't even looking for the truth. I'm here to build something meaningful. I'm here to live on my terms. That means not letting the noise in. That means not absorbing every opinion. That means being selective with what you watch, who you listen to, and where you place your attention. Your peace is your power. It's the space where clarity lives. It's where you make your best decisions. It's where your creativity grows. It's where your discipline comes from. Without peace, everything feels rushed. Everything feels reactive. You jump from one thing to the next, never really feeling in control. But when you've got peace, you think clearly. You move with intention. You know what matters, and you know what doesn't. You can't let the outside world run your mind. You can't let other people's opinions control how you feel about yourself. If you keep trying to please everybody, you'll lose yourself. If you keep responding to every attack, you'll burn out. If you keep explaining yourself to people who don't want to understand you, you'll get stuck. You've got to choose silence. You've got to choose self-respect. You've got to choose peace. Peace doesn't mean you ignore reality. Peace means you're strong enough to face reality without letting it shake you. It means knowing who you are so well that outside pressure can't break your focus. It means having the discipline to protect your energy like it matters, because it does. Every time you let the wrong person into your head, you lose time. Every time you let negativity shift your mood, you lose momentum. And if you let it go on for too long, you lose direction. Protecting your peace takes work. It's not something that just happens. It's a decision you make every single day. You have to protect your mornings. You have to protect your routines. You have to protect your time. You have to protect your space. You have to protect your energy. Not out of fear, out of respect for your goals, out of commitment to your future, out of love for your progress. That means sometimes you've got to stop explaining your moves. Just make them. You don't need to announce every step. You don't need to justify every change. You don't need to defend your growth. Just move forward. Let people talk. Let them misunderstand you. Let them question you. That's their noise, not your truth. Stay centered. Stay grounded. Let your work speak. You're not here to fix everyone else. You're not here to be liked by everyone. You're here to get stronger. You're here to grow. You're here to do the hard work of building a life that feels good when no one's watching. And that kind of life takes focus. It takes boundaries. It takes emotional strength. You've got to know when to speak and when to be silent, when to engage and when to walk away, when to respond and when to protect your peace. People will test you. They'll poke at your patience. They'll try to pull you into drama that has nothing to do with you. They'll challenge your decisions just because they don't understand your vision. That's part of the process. Growth exposes you to more noise, but growth also gives you the power to ignore it. The stronger you get, the less you need to react. The more focused you become, the easier it is to walk away from things that don't align with your path. And sometimes the loudest noise comes from your own thoughts. The doubt, the fear, the overthinking, the pressure. You've got to quiet that too. You've got to learn to sit still and not let your own mind bully you. You've got to replace those voices with something stronger. Truth, confidence, clarity, purpose. That's how you take control back. That's how you stay balanced. Not everything requires your energy. Not every opinion deserves your time. Not every message needs a reply. Your peace isn't up for negotiation. You don't need to be pulled into chaos to prove your strength. Real strength is staying calm. Real strength is holding your focus. Real strength is staying disciplined in a world that wants you distracted. If something costs you your peace, it's too expensive. If someone drains your energy every time you talk, you've got to distance yourself. If a habit keeps breaking your focus, you've got to change it. You can't keep living in reaction. You've got to live by design. And that design starts with protecting the space inside you. Protecting your peace is not selfish. It's necessary. You can't pour into your work, your goals, your family, your vision, if you're mentally exhausted from fighting battles that don't belong to you. You need space to think, space to breathe, space to grow. And that means saying no more often. That means walking away more often. That means being okay with not being understood. You weren't put here to explain every decision. You were put here to grow through every season. And some seasons require silence. Some seasons require solitude. Some seasons require you to lock in so deep that the world forgets your name until they see the results of your focus. Let the world make noise. That's what it does. But you don't have to join it. You can choose stillness. You can choose presence. You can choose inner strength. That's how you build peace. One decision at a time. One boundary at a time. One clear moment at a time. And when you live that way, your confidence rises. Your clarity grows. Your focus sharpens. You stop being shaken by small things. You stop being controlled by other people's moods. You stop feeling like you have to chase everything. You become intentional. You become powerful. You'll still face problems. Life doesn't stop being difficult. But when you protect your peace, those problems don't destroy you. They don't throw you off course. You face them with strength. You handle them with clarity. You stay in control. You only get one mind, one spirit, one life. You can't give that away to every loud voice that shows up. You've got to keep it guarded, keep it focused, keep it grounded, because everything you're trying to build depends on it. This isn't about pretending things don't affect you. It's about refusing to let them control you. It's about standing in the middle of chaos and choosing calm. It's about knowing your worth so deeply that noise can't shake your value. And it's not just a mindset. It's a lifestyle. It's a daily commitment to focus on what matters and ignore what doesn't. To choose purpose over pressure. To choose progress over popularity. To choose peace over performance. That's how you rise. That's how you win. That's how you build a life that feels good from the inside out. Not by being perfect. Not by controlling the world. But by controlling what you allow in. By protecting your space. By defending your mind. By refusing to let the outside world run your inner one. So whatever you're facing right now, step back and breathe. Ask yourself, is this helping me grow, or is this just noise? And if it's noise, shut it out. Cut it off. Move forward, quietly, powerfully, relentlessly. Your peace is too valuable to waste. Protect it like your future depends on it, because it does. Number 5. Build your habits around discipline, not motivation or mood. Most people wait around hoping to feel ready before they act. They wait to feel excited or confident or clear, and when that feeling doesn't show up, they do nothing. Days go by, then weeks, then years, and they stay stuck in the same place. That's what happens when your habits are built on motivation or mood. You become a prisoner of how you feel, instead of being the creator of what you do. Discipline is different. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. Discipline shows up when you don't want to. Discipline moves when your body says rest. Discipline keeps promises that your emotions try to escape from. That's the gap between people who change their lives and people who stay in circles. One group works when it's easy. The other group works when it's hard. The first group needs a reason. The second group becomes the reason. Motivation is short-lived. Discipline is built. Motivation fades fast. Discipline grows stronger with time. If your life depends on being in the right mood, you're not going to last. Life's not always going to give you a good mood. Some mornings you'll wake up exhausted. Some days your mind will be full of doubts. Some moments you'll feel invisible. And in those moments, if you don't have discipline, you'll fall apart. Discipline is what keeps you moving when the excitement wears off. You don't need to feel like it. You need to do it. The discipline to wake up early. The discipline to put the work in when no one sees it. The discipline to shut off distractions when your focus is weak. The discipline to keep going when you're tired of trying. That's what separates real growth from empty promises. You want to change your life? Stop chasing moods. Start building habits that ignore them. That's the truth most people don't want to hear, because it's hard, it's uncomfortable. It forces you to act without feeling rewarded. But that's where the power lives. That's where the edge is. That's where you build something that lasts. When you depend on motivation, you'll always be inconsistent. You'll show up sometimes. You'll quit often. You'll start again next month. You'll wait for the new year. And all that time, nothing really changes. But when you build your days around discipline, the results start compounding. You stop skipping. You stop hesitating. You stop wasting. Discipline creates momentum. It turns your average days into productive ones. It turns effort into progress. It turns time into transformation. Don't tell yourself you're waiting for the right feeling. The right feeling is not coming. You create the feeling by taking action. You feel proud after you finish. You feel stronger after you show up. You feel clear after you work through the chaos. So stop giving your feelings the final say. Give that power to your decisions. Your emotions don't get to run your future. Your standards do. Every successful person you admire has bad days. Every one of them has mornings when they want to quit. But the difference is they don't. They show up. They keep going. Not because they feel good, but because they've trained themselves to stay consistent no matter what. That's the key. Not talent, not luck, not inspiration. Just the quiet, relentless discipline to do what needs to be done. Discipline gives you freedom. It gives you control. It gives you the ability to create results instead of waiting for them. When you live with discipline, you no longer need the perfect conditions. You don't need loud motivation. You don't need applause. You just move. You do the work. You build your systems. You hold your line. That's how habits become automatic. That's how progress becomes natural. If you want to build anything meaningful, you've got to stop negotiating with your feelings. You've got to stop asking yourself if you're in the mood. Your goals don't care. Your growth doesn't care. Your future doesn't care. The world rewards what you finish, not what you planned. That's why discipline matters more than anything. It gets the job done. It doesn't wait. It doesn't complain. It doesn't excuse. It executes. Think about your current habits. Are they built on discipline or mood? Do you train only when you feel good? Do you work only when you're inspired? Do you stay focused only when it's convenient? That's not going to last. It can't carry you through hard seasons. It won't survive adversity. You've got to hardwire your habits to run. Even when you don't feel ready, especially when you don't feel ready. Build your routine to work even on your worst day. Design your system to function when energy is low. Create your schedule so that it doesn't depend on how you feel in the moment. That's how you win. That's how you stay sharp. That's how you keep rising. Not because everything is easy, But because you've made a decision, I don't skip. I don't stall. I don't delay. I show up. And here's the truth. Discipline isn't a personality trait. It's a skill. You can build it. You can train it. You can grow it. You just have to decide. You've got to push through resistance long enough for discipline to take over. You've got to stop quitting when it gets hard. You've got to stop using your feelings as a scoreboard. That's the old way. That's the way that keeps you stuck. There's a better way. There's a stronger way. It starts with this question: what would happen if I kept going, no matter how I felt? Most people don't know the answer to that question because they've never tried. They've always stopped too soon. They've always needed to feel excited. But what if you didn't? What if you moved without permission from your mood? What if you decided that your values, your vision, your goals were more important than your emotions in the moment? That's when things start to shift. That's when the transformation begins. When you show up tired, when you stay consistent, when it's boring, when you get up early even though no one's watching, when you do the work that isn't flashy, that's when you start becoming the kind of person who gets things done. Motivation will lie to you. It'll make you wait. It'll tell you to try again next week. It'll convince you to skip today. It'll make you feel like something's wrong with you if you're not excited. But nothing's wrong with you. That's just what motivation does. It's emotional. It's unpredictable. It's fragile. Discipline is different. Discipline is solid. It's stable. It's dependable. You can build a life on discipline. You can't build one on mood. Stop chasing motivation. Start training discipline. Set a schedule. Keep it. No matter what. Create a standard. Stick to it. Even when it's hard. Follow a process. Respect it. Even when no one claps. That's how you change. That's how you grow. That's how you become unstoppable. And when you do that, something powerful happens. You start trusting yourself. You start believing in your ability to follow through. You stop needing external validation. You stop second-guessing your process. You start building a reputation with yourself. Someone who follows through. Someone who stays solid. Someone who doesn't bend under pressure. That's what discipline does. It builds confidence from action, not words. It builds strength from consistency, not hype. And soon enough, you won't need motivation. You'll have momentum. You won't need to be in the mood. You'll be in motion. You won't need to be pushed. You'll be pulled by your own discipline. That's when everything changes. That's when you stop looking for the easy way. That's when you stop waiting for the right feeling. You become the force. You become the reason. You become the one who shows up every day and gets the job done. No matter what, discipline gives you leverage. It gives you power. It gives you the ability to move forward when most people freeze. And if you stay consistent long enough, you'll look back one day and realize you've become something rare. Someone who can be counted on. Someone who delivers. Someone who wins. So ask yourself right now, are you acting from mood or from mission? Are you waiting for a push or are you pushing yourself? Because your habits will show the truth. Your routine will tell the real story. If you want to rewrite that story, don't wait for motivation. Build discipline. Start now. Stay consistent. And don't stop. That's how real change begins. That's how the life you want is built. One disciplined decision at a time. Number 6, hold yourself accountable for every result you create. Every result you see in your life began with a choice to own what happened next. You can point fingers or you can point to yourself. When something goes right, you can say you did it by chance or you can say you made it happen. When something goes wrong, you can blame circumstances or you can look in the mirror. True progress starts when you stop shifting responsibility and you start taking it. You build real confidence when you face every outcome and you refuse to deny your part in it. Accountability is the practice of being honest about what you control and what you create. It isn't about being perfect. It's about refusing to hide from the truth. You don't need to carry a sign that reminds you to own your actions. You don't need a training manual on blame removal. You just need the guts to admit your role in every success and every failure. Each decision you make, each habit you form, each moment you choose to act or not act contributes to the results you get. You already know this to be true. Deep down, the gap is between knowing it and living it. When you hold yourself accountable, you become your own coach, your own judge, your own partner in change. You listen to your actions, and you ask tough questions. Did I give my best energy today? Did I follow through on my plan? Did I honor my own commitments? If the answer is no, you don't look for excuses. You look for ways to improve. You shift from complaining about obstacles to solving them. You learn that problems don't stop you. They teach you how to become stronger. You feel something shift inside when you stop blaming others. A weight lifts from your shoulders because you no longer depend on someone else to set things right. You gather your courage and you face your own mistakes. You look them in the eye and you whisper a promise. I will do better next time. You accept that growth can be uncomfortable. You accept that admitting error is the fastest path to becoming skilled. That discomfort signals you're on the edge of a breakthrough. Every morning you can practice accountability with a simple check. Before you reach for your phone, you can ask, what do I need to own today? You can remember the goals you set last night, and you can confirm they still matter. You can adjust your schedule so it reflects those goals instead of random tasks. You can choose to protect your time for what actually moves you forward. This habit of daily reflection builds mental clarity. It clears the fog of distraction and gives you a compass each day. Accountability demands clear standards. You can't hold yourself to vague expectations. You can't say, I'll work hard today. You have to define what hard work means in practice. You can set a target of pages to read, calls to make, steps to take, dollars to save, or minutes to meditate. Then you track your progress. When you meet the target, you feel the quiet power of follow-through. When you miss the mark, you feel the honest sting of reality. That sting reminds you still have room to grow. You can use a notebook or an app. You can write on paper or type in a document. The tool doesn't matter. What matters is that you document your promises and your results. When you see your own record, it holds you in a simple trial. Did I do what I said I would? If not, why not? If you don't like the answer you get, you change your approach next time. You stop repeating the same mistake. You refine your plan. You stay in control instead of letting your plans drift. Accountability works with support, but can't rely on it. You can tell a friend your plan and ask them to check in. That's helpful, but you cannot outsource the core of ownership. If your friend forgets to follow up, you don't use that as an excuse. You remind them, or you find a new way to hold yourself to a higher bar. You design a system that doesn't collapse when other people drop the ball. You build self-reliance. Every time you accept praise, remember that you also accept the responsibility for what comes next. Success doesn't free you from accountability. It tightens the circle. The more you achieve, the more you owe to your next goal. You don't rest on your past wins. You don't use them as a shield when you face new challenges. You treat every stage as a fresh trial, where you must prove yourself again. That keeps you sharp. That fuels your momentum. When you face a setback, you don't look for consolation. You look for clues. You study the failure as a scientist examines a sample. You identify the variables you can adjust. You ask questions. Was my plan clear? Did I execute with focus? Did I fall into habits that don't serve me? You gather data from your experience. Then you create a revised plan. You don't pity yourself. You solve the problem. Your words matter. When you say, I tried and failed, you water down your own power. Each outcome was created. It was not a random event. Say, I took action, and I didn't get the result I wanted. Use language that reminds you that you were in control. You can write your own next chapter, because you understand the script you just lived. Choose words that honor your strength and keep you moving. Create milestones that celebrate true progress. When you hit a target, don't sugarcoat it. Acknowledge the work it took. Reward yourself in a way that aligns with your values. Don't throw a party for a small win, or you'll lose sight of what counts. But don't skip the celebration either, or you'll lose motivation. Find the balance. Use each milestone as proof that accountability pays off. Hold yourself to deadlines. A task without a due date floats indefinitely. You need a timestamp to anchor your effort. If you want to write 5 pages by Thursday morning, then you own what you produce. or you admit that you fell short. You face the truth at the deadline, then you respond. You don't dodge it. You don't pretend it wasn't important. You face the consequence and you plan how to handle the next one. Notice how your confidence grows when you meet every deadline you set. You start to trust yourself. You start to believe that your word is reliable, that trust becomes a foundation for bigger goals. If you can deliver on small promises, then you can deliver on large ones too. But trust is fragile. You nurture it with consistent follow-through. You guard it by never letting yourself off the hook without a plan. You will be tempted to make excuses. Excuses feel comfortable because they shift the blame. They sound like valid reasons. The traffic was bad. The system failed. The timing was off. But you don't accept them as truth. You see them as signals where you need better solutions. You ask, how can I avoid this roadblock next time? How can I adjust my process so it doesn't depend on luck? You turn every excuse into an opportunity for improvement. When you speak about your journey, phrase things so you remain in charge. Say, I chose to focus on other tasks instead, rather than I was too busy. That subtle shift reminds you that you always have choices. You never lose control of your decisions. You might not like your own choices. You might need to change them, but you stay in charge. That mindset stops excuses from creeping in. Be honest with the people who depend on you. If you set a team goal and you don't meet your part, you own it. You don't pass blame to coworkers. You don't hide your mistake. You step forward and you say, I dropped the ball here. Give me a minute to recover. That honesty builds respect. It shows you're not above the work. It also ensures the project moves forward because everyone knows the truth. At night, look back on your day with clarity. What did you promise yourself? What did you deliver? What distracted you? How can you guard against that tomorrow? This evening routine sharpens your focus for the next morning. It turns regrets into lessons. It leaves no loose ends. You go to bed with a clear record of your success and your next target. When you take full responsibility for your results, you reclaim your power. You stop waiting for someone to fix your problems. You stop hoping for a break. You stop searching for shortcuts. You realize that your talent, your effort, your habits, and your mindset are the only ingredients that shape your future. You treat them with respect because they deserve nothing less. Notice how people respond when you speak with accountability. They trust you more. They listen to your words. They admire your honesty. They know that when you make a promise, you'll keep it. That trust becomes currency in your relationships. It makes collaboration easier. It makes leadership natural. It makes your presence invaluable. Accountability is not a burden. It's a tool. It's what turns vague dreams into clear achievements. It's what transforms plans into reality. Each time you face your own role in an outcome, you sharpen your skill. You gain insight. You expand your capacity. You find creative ways to do better next time. Be relentless with your follow-through. When you commit to a morning routine, you don't let one missed step derail it. You restart immediately. You learn from why you missed it. You refine your habit. You show up the next day. You get back on track before you drift too far. That persistence creates an unbreakable momentum. Your word to yourself matters more than any contract you sign. You vow to take control of your results. You vow to learn from every outcome. You vow to make your own success. Then you hold yourself to that vow. If you break it, you face the gap between who you promised to be and who you acted like. Then you close that gap. No more pointing fingers. No more shifting blame. If you want to change your life, then change how you respond to results. Step into ownership. Face every success with humility. Face every failure with curiosity. Face every day with the same question. What can I learn and how can I improve? When you do this, your growth becomes unstoppable. You see patterns. You see cause and effect. You see where to double down and where to pivot. You become strategic because you base decisions on real data, your own history. You become confident because you know you can trust yourself to deliver. And in the end, you discover something simple. Your life is exactly as you make it. Every milestone, every setback, every breakthrough, all of it came from your hands. You carry the power of creation and correction. You become the force that moves your world instead of the one who reacts to it. That is the real victory. Hold yourself accountable for every result you create, and you transform your life from a series of random events into a deliberate masterpiece. You become the author of your own story, and you write each chapter with purpose, clarity, and unwavering responsibility. Number 7. Say no to anything that weakens your focus. Saying no is one of the most powerful skills you'll ever develop. Not because it makes you rigid or distant, but because it protects what truly matters. Every time you say yes to something, you're spending your time, your energy, and your attention. And you only have so much of each. The moment you agree to something that doesn't align with your purpose, you lose clarity. You get pulled off course. You dilute your focus. You hand over your time for something that doesn't move your life forward. This is where most people get stuck. They confuse being busy with being productive. They think doing more means achieving more. But the truth is, growth doesn't come from filling your schedule with noise. Growth comes from being ruthless about what deserves your time. The more you practice saying no, the more space you create for deep work. And deep work is where breakthroughs happen. Deep work is where your potential turns into something real. You don't owe anyone your focus. You don't have to explain why you're protecting your time. You don't have to soften your boundaries to make others feel comfortable. You just have to be clear about your priorities and firm about what you're willing to allow. Every distraction that sneaks into your life does so with your permission. And every time you give in to something small, you give away something big. Distractions come disguised as opportunities. They show up looking important. A quick call here, a minor errand there, a meeting you didn't need to take, but all of it adds up. These tiny leaks drain your mental energy before you've even started working on what really matters. You lose momentum. And once that's gone, it takes serious effort to get it back. You can't let your energy be hijacked by things that don't build your vision. When you begin your day, you already know what needs your full attention. There's always that one task or goal that moves you forward more than anything else. And that's the task that usually gets buried beneath everything else. Not because you don't care, but because you haven't fully mastered the discipline to guard your time. You respond to everything instead of designing your time with intention. You check messages out of habit. You scroll without thinking. You pick up the phone just because it rings. And slowly your day becomes a series of reactions instead of deliberate action. Saying no isn't rude. It's responsible. It shows that you respect yourself enough not to be pulled in every direction. It means you've learned the difference between what's urgent and what's important. It means you're no longer available for things that waste your potential. You're not cold. You're focused. You're not dismissive. You're disciplined. You don't have to prove your worth by doing everything for everyone. You prove your worth by doing the right things for your future. When you say no to distractions, you're not just saving time. You're preserving your ability to think. Focus is mental clarity. Focus is the power to go deep without being pulled sideways. Focus is what helps you finish what you start. Without it, your day scatters. Your energy fades. Your mind becomes overwhelmed, and you begin to settle for just getting by instead of doing something meaningful. You have to make hard decisions. You have to choose silence over small talk. You have to choose solitude over being liked. You have to turn down events, meetings, projects, even people, if they don't align with where you're going. You have to train yourself to say no without guilt, because guilt is the hook that pulls you back into mediocrity. People will try to make you feel bad for not being available. They'll misunderstand your distance, but that's not your burden to carry. If you want to achieve something uncommon, you have to protect your focus like your future depends on it. Because it does. Every time you commit to something unimportant, you delay what's truly important. You delay the book you were going to write. You delay the business you were going to build. You delay the fitness you were going to reclaim. You delay the version of yourself you're trying to become. And those delays turn into months. Months turn into years, and years turn into regret. You'll look back and wonder where the time went. It went to everything you said yes to that didn't matter. You don't need more motivation. You need less distraction. You don't need more time. You need to stop wasting it. Your schedule isn't too packed. It's just filled with the wrong things. And deep down, you already know what you need to stop doing. You already know what's stealing your time. But knowing isn't enough. You have to act on it. You have to cut the noise and double down on your priorities. The people who rise the fastest are the ones who focus the hardest. They're not the smartest. They're not the most talented. They're just consistent with their focus. They say no to what doesn't matter, and they say it quickly. They don't hesitate when something isn't aligned. They protect their mental environment like it's sacred. They don't just want success. They structure their life around it. This kind of discipline isn't about being robotic. It's about being free. Because when you eliminate distractions, you actually create more room to think, to breathe, and to move forward. You stop chasing shallow wins. You stop living on other people's schedules. You build a routine that supports your mission instead of undermining it. And in that space, you make progress faster, more deeply, more intentionally. Don't let every invitation become a commitment. Don't let every notification become a disruption. Don't let every opportunity become an obligation. Say no fast and say it often. Don't justify. Don't explain. Just be clear. Say that's not aligned with what I'm focusing on right now. Say I appreciate the offer, but I'm protecting my time for something else. That's not selfish. That's what successful people do. There will always be noise, always be distractions, always be people who expect your time, but your future doesn't belong to them. It belongs to you, and every moment you give away carelessly is a moment you'll never get back. You can't build your dream if you keep building everyone else's. You can't find your purpose if you're drowning in other people's agendas. You have to practice turning down comfort, turning down easy conversations, turning down habits that don't serve you. Say no to late nights if you're trying to rise early. Say no to pointless scrolling if you're trying to read more. Say no to gossip if you're trying to stay mentally sharp. Say no to mindless entertainment if you're trying to create something meaningful. Say no to the old version of yourself that keeps trying to pull you back into old cycles. The more you say no to distraction, the clearer your mind becomes. You begin to hear your own thoughts again. You begin to see what really matters. You become more intentional. You act with clarity. You make fewer mistakes. You recover faster. You waste less energy. You gain more momentum. You develop the strength to stay in your lane while the world tries to drag you out of it. There's power in silence. There's peace in doing fewer things better. There's strength in mastering your time. And that strength doesn't come from being constantly inspired. It comes from being disciplined enough to protect your attention. Attention is your most valuable asset. It shapes your decisions. It controls your habits. It defines your future. And if you give it away too easily, you'll never build anything worthwhile. People might not understand your focus. They might think you're too intense, too serious, too distant. That's fine. They don't have to understand your mission. They don't have to see your vision. They don't have to believe in your discipline. That's not their job. Your job is to stay locked in, to know where you're going, and to protect that direction with everything you've got. This isn't about isolation. It's about elevation. It's about choosing peace over popularity, depth over distraction, mastery over mediocrity. Saying no might cost you some relationships. It might cost you short-term comfort. But what it gives you is long-term clarity. It gives you time to sharpen your skills, to improve your thinking, to build your confidence, to execute your goals. Every distraction you turn down is a commitment to your future self. Every moment you protect is a step closer to mastery. Every nomen you say today gives you the power to say yes to what matters most tomorrow. Say no when you need to focus. Say no when you feel overwhelmed. Say no when it doesn't feel aligned. Say no because your focus is not up for negotiation. Make your no sacred. Make your focus non-negotiable. Because if you don't protect it, no one else will. Number 8, face your flaws and fix them with daily action. The moment you stop pretending you're perfect is the moment you start growing. Most people spend their lives running from their flaws, hiding behind distractions, or pretending they're not there. But ignoring your flaws doesn't make them disappear. It only gives them more control over you. The only way to move forward is to confront the parts of yourself that you've been avoiding. The weaknesses, the insecurities, the bad habits, the emotional wounds, they don't go away by hoping. They go away when you start working on them. Not once, not occasionally, every single day. There is no shortcut to self-mastery. You have to sit with the truth. You have to observe your behavior and call it out. You have to admit where you've been making excuses. You have to see how your own patterns have been holding you back. And when that realization hits, it's not comfortable, but it's powerful. Because when you finally stop lying to yourself, you gain the ability to change. You reclaim your authority over your choices. You realize you're not stuck because of anyone else. You're stuck because you haven't taken full ownership of what you can improve. No one else is responsible for fixing you. It's on you. You can't blame your childhood, your environment, or the people who misunderstood you. You can't wait for someone to rescue you or motivate you to get better. You have to want to grow more than you want to stay comfortable. You have to be willing to look in the mirror and see exactly who you are. Not who you pretend to be for others, but who you really are when no one is watching. That's where real transformation starts. Not in public, in private. When you face your own reflection and decide that today, you're going to take one step forward. Daily action is the medicine for every flaw you carry. Consistent effort is what reshapes your mindset, your habits, and your future. It's not about being perfect, it's about being committed. You can't fix everything in one day, but you can begin. You can take responsibility for your attitude. You can interrupt your old reactions. You can choose a better response. You can practice patience when you feel triggered. You can organize your time when your thoughts feel scattered. You can clean up your behavior even when no one notices. Every act of discipline rewires your identity. Every small decision to improve adds weight to your character. Your flaws are not your identity. They're simply areas you haven't mastered yet. And mastery only comes through repetition. If you avoid what needs fixing, you prolong your struggle. If you face it and act daily, you break the cycle. It's not about obsessing over your faults or judging yourself harshly. It's about being real, being honest enough to see where you fall short, and being disciplined enough to rise above it. That's how strength is built, from raw awareness and consistent correction. You might be impatient. You might procrastinate. You might lose focus too easily. You might get defensive when challenged. You might rely on external validation. You might talk about goals more than you work on them. That's fine, as long as you're not using those truths as a crutch. You're not defined by your weaknesses, but you will be shaped by how you respond to them. You can let them dominate your path, or you can outwork them, outgrow them, and outlast them. Change is not a grand moment. It's a daily grind. It's choosing to train your mind when it wants to escape. It's making that uncomfortable decision when it would be easier to fall back. It's catching yourself before you slip into old patterns. It's pushing through the resistance that shows up every time you try to elevate. It's reminding yourself that growth is supposed to be hard, that if it were easy, everyone would be strong. But strength belongs to those who show up daily, even when no one claps, even when no one sees progress yet. You can't keep hiding behind potential. You can't keep telling yourself, you'll start tomorrow. You can't keep accepting, I'm just like this, as an excuse to stay stagnant. At some point, you either become the person who changes or the person who talks about change. And that choice is made in your daily actions. Every morning you have a decision to make. Am I going to build discipline today, or am I going to feed my flaws again? Nobody can do it for you. They can support you, but they can't fight your battles. They can advise you, but they can't change your habits. They can encourage you, but they can't choose your discipline. That's all on you. Your flaws won't fix themselves. Time doesn't change people. Action does. You can spend years with the same mindset if you keep repeating the same behavior. But if you show up every day with the intent to improve just one small part of yourself, you become unstoppable. Don't wait to feel ready. Don't wait for everything to be perfect. That moment never comes. You fix your flaws by stepping into discomfort daily, by doing the things you've avoided, by having the conversations you've postponed, by taking responsibility for the pain you've caused, by apologizing without excuses, by acting with integrity even when it's inconvenient, by doing the work when no one is watching. This is the grind that sharpens your character. People admire results, but they don't see the quiet struggle behind them. They don't see the internal battles you fight daily, to stay focused, to stay kind, to stay disciplined. But that's what really builds you. Not the praise, not the attention, just the repeated decision to improve. You stop being afraid of your flaws once you face them consistently. The shame starts to lose power. The fear begins to fade. And what's left is a stronger version of you. One that doesn't need to be perfect but refuses to stay weak. Flaws don't make you unworthy. They make you human. But staying the same when you know you can grow, that's what breaks your spirit over time. Because deep down you know when you're not giving your best. You know when you're settling for less than your potential. And that silent knowing will eat away at your confidence unless you interrupt it with consistent action. You don't need to make drastic changes overnight. You just need to be better than you were yesterday. More focused, more patient, more consistent, more honest. You need to check yourself. Challenge your assumptions. Confront your laziness. Fight your distractions. Learn from your failures. Clean up your mistakes. Forgive your past, but don't let it be a place you live in. It should be a place you learn from, a place you build from. When you stop waiting to be inspired and start committing to the process, everything changes. You become the type of person who doesn't need hype to work. You don't need a mood to move. You don't need motivation to show up. You show up because it's who you are. You work on yourself daily because you respect your future too much to let today go to waste. You look your flaws in the eye and you say, you don't control me anymore. Some days you'll fall short. Some days you'll regress. That's normal. But what matters is you keep coming back. You don't let one failure turn into a habit. You don't let one mistake become your identity. You reset. You refocus. You try again. Because the goal is progress, not perfection. And progress demands that you stay in the game, even when it's messy, even when it's hard, even when you feel like giving up. You're not here to be flawless. You're here to become powerful through discipline, through honesty, through persistence. There is no version of your future where you thrive without effort. So start making peace with the grind. Let it shape you. Let it refine you. Let it break the parts of you that were never meant to stay. Let it forge the version of you that can lead, serve, and inspire. Not because you're perfect, but because you're real. Own your flaws. Study them. Break them down. Build new behaviors in their place. Speak to yourself with truth, not excuses. Stop protecting the parts of you that keep you stuck. Face the hard truths with courage. And then every single day, take action. Small action. Silent action. Unseen action. But action that compounds day after day, until your flaws become your strength, until your weaknesses become wisdom, until your actions become unshakable. This is the way forward. This is the path to growth. It's not glamorous. It's not always fun, but it's worth every ounce of effort, because on the other side of your flaws is a stronger, wiser, more disciplined version of you. And that version only shows up when you do the work, daily, quietly, relentlessly. Number 9, put yourself first and stop explaining your dreams. Most people waste years waiting for others to understand their dreams. They spend energy explaining their path, defending their purpose, and trying to justify their ambition to people who never had the courage to chase anything of their own. That's not your job. You don't need approval to grow. You don't need validation to chase what makes your life meaningful. If they don't get it, they don't need to. You weren't born to convince anyone. You were born to become who you're meant to be. That requires energy. That requires focus. That requires you to put yourself first. Not in a selfish way, but in a self-respecting way. Because if you don't make yourself your own priority, no one else will. Your dreams are your responsibility. They weren't handed to someone else to carry. They were placed inside of you. That means you're the one who has to take them seriously. You're the one who has to protect them from the noise, the doubt, and the opinions that come from people who never built anything meaningful themselves. You don't owe anyone an explanation for the goals that matter to you. If it makes sense to you, that's enough. If it lights something up inside of you, that's your signal. Not everyone will understand your path, and that's because it wasn't designed for them. It was built for you. Stop diluting your vision. by seeking approval from the wrong people. Stop talking about your next move just to get permission. That weakens your belief. Every time you over-explain, you hand someone else the power to plant doubt in your mind. And most people won't say what you want to hear. They'll say what reflects their own fear, their own regrets, their own limited view of the world. That has nothing to do with you. Their fears are not your blueprint. Their disbelief is not your obstacle. Their confusion is not your burden. Your only job is to focus on your path and walk it with conviction. When you put yourself first, you're not abandoning others. You're choosing to stop abandoning yourself. You're finally deciding that your peace matters more than pleasing everyone. You're owning your time. You're protecting your space. You're saying no without guilt. You're moving in silence, because the noise around you doesn't build your future. Your discipline does. Your consistency does. Your internal fire does. And that fire burns stronger when you stop talking and start building. You don't need to post about every idea you have. You don't need to explain every step you take. You don't need to break down your plan for people who haven't even earned the right to know it. Some things are meant to be kept sacred. Your vision is one of them. Speak less. Move more. Let your results be your explanation. Let your growth be your message. Let your energy speak for itself. You're not in this world to prove anyone wrong. You're here to prove yourself right. And that requires action, not discussion. There will be people who call you selfish for putting yourself first. Let them. They don't know what it costs to grow. They haven't seen the nights you stayed up studying. They don't understand the sacrifices you've made. They weren't there when you struggled in silence. They haven't lived your journey, so their judgment is irrelevant. You don't have to carry their expectations. You don't have to meet their definition of success. You don't owe them anything except the example of what's possible when someone decides to take full control of their life. Putting yourself first means honoring your boundaries. It means cutting off people who drain you, even if they don't understand why. It means choosing rest when the world tells you to hustle blindly. It means focusing deeply when everyone else is distracted. It means being loyal to your vision, even when it's unpopular. It means walking alone sometimes. Not because you're arrogant, but because your path requires clarity, and clarity can't grow in chaos. You don't have to be accessible to everyone. You don't have to be available 24/7. You're allowed to disappear to evolve. This isn't about being cold. This isn't about isolation. It's about intentional living. It's about taking back control of your time, your energy, and your attention. Because without control, you stay stuck in cycles that lead nowhere. You stay stuck explaining your goals to people who can't even see the level you're trying to reach. You stay stuck adjusting your ambition to match someone else's fear. That's not growth. That's self-betrayal. And you didn't come this far to keep betraying yourself for the comfort of others. Learn to be misunderstood. Learn to be silent when people ask you to explain every move. Learn to smile when they doubt you. Learn to stay committed without shouting about it. Every minute you spend explaining could be spent building. Every second wasted on justifying could be used to refine your craft. The real builders are too busy working to argue. The ones who win don't need to prove it first. They just show up relentlessly and let their success do the talking. Not everyone needs access to your process. Not everyone should have a say in your direction. You're not building a group project. This is your life, your vision, your responsibility. And the moment you realize that, you stop entertaining small talk with people who think small. You stop lowering your frequency to match people who refuse to elevate. You stop shrinking your voice just to be accepted by people who never had the courage to be bold. You don't need their applause. You don't need their congratulations. You don't need their permission. What you need is silence, clarity, and consistency. What you need is discipline, patience, and belief. What you need is to put yourself first, not just in words, but in actions. That means honoring your routine. That means protecting your energy like your life depends on it, because it does. That means showing up for yourself every single day, regardless of how others feel about it. Stop looking for cheerleaders. Be your own source of fuel. Be your own source of fire. Your work ethic should not depend on compliments. Your vision should not require explanation. If you want to go far, learn to travel light. Carry your belief. Carry your discipline. Leave behind the need to explain yourself. The people who are meant to understand will see it in your results. The rest are just background noise. Some people are only interested in your dream when it becomes real. Let them watch. Let them wonder how you did it. You don't have to say a word. You just have to keep moving forward. Every time you choose yourself, you're building something real. Every time you stay quiet and focused, you're getting closer. Every time you walk away from distractions, you're respecting your own potential. And when the time comes, your work will speak so loudly that you won't need to say anything. There's nothing wrong with being low-key. There's nothing weak about working in silence. There's strength in privacy. There's power in protecting your energy. There's growth in doing the hard work without a spotlight. And there's clarity in choosing not to explain every move you make. You don't need a crowd to validate your direction. You just need your own commitment. And that comes from putting yourself first, consistently, unapologetically, and with absolute focus. That's how you win. Quietly, relentlessly, on your own terms. Number 10. Train your mind to focus only on your goals. Your mind is a powerful tool, but if left unchecked, it can become your biggest obstacle. The world around you is filled with distractions, constant noise, endless opinions, and overwhelming amounts of information. If you don't train your mind to focus only on your goals, you'll find yourself lost in that noise, constantly reacting to the world, instead of creating your own path. It's easy to get caught up in the drama, the gossip, the things that aren't even your business. But none of that will get you closer to where you want to be. None of that will move you toward your purpose. Training your mind to focus only on your goals means that you develop an internal filter, a way of deciding, without hesitation, what's worth your time and energy. You become highly selective about what you allow to occupy your thoughts. Your goals, your dreams, your vision. They are the only things that deserve space in your mind. When your focus is locked in on what truly matters, everything else becomes irrelevant. Every distraction, every negative thought, every moment of doubt is like an intruder trying to steal your attention. But when you're clear on your goals, you know that you don't have time to entertain anything that doesn't serve you. The process of training your mind begins with intention. You have to set your sights on your goals clearly. It's not enough to say, I want to be successful, or I want to be better. You need specifics. What does success look like for you? What does better mean? The more clearly defined your goals are, the easier it becomes to block out the noise. When your goals are specific, they become a guiding light. They give your mind something concrete to focus on. Without clear goals, you're just wandering, and every distraction becomes a detour. But clarity is just the beginning. The real challenge is learning how to maintain focus when the world around you is constantly shifting. You'll be tempted to react to things that pull you away from your purpose. The more you grow, the more opportunities there will be for you to be distracted. People will try to take you off course. Problems will arise, and life will throw challenges your way. But none of that can deter you if you've trained your mind to stay on track. One of the most powerful ways to train your mind is through repetition. Every day, remind yourself of your goals. Every morning, write them down. Every night, reflect on your progress. The more you immerse yourself in your vision, the stronger your mental connection to it becomes. It's not just about thinking about your goals. It's about living them. Your actions need to align with your vision every day. That means taking consistent steps toward your goals, even when it's hard, even when it feels like you're not moving fast enough, even when you're tempted to look around at what everyone else is doing. The distractions won't stop. There will always be something or someone trying to pull you in a different direction. But here's the thing. You don't have to entertain every distraction. You don't have to give attention to things that don't move you toward your goals. This is a skill that takes time to develop. It requires discipline, patience, and an unshakable belief in your own potential. As you practice, it becomes easier to let go of things that don't matter. You'll get better at saying no to things that drain your energy and yes to the things that propel you forward. Your mind will always try to wander. That's natural. It's human. But what separates those who succeed from those who don't is the ability to bring the mind back to focus. Every time your thoughts drift away from your goals, you have to pull them back. You have to remind yourself that your goals are the only things that deserve your energy. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being persistent. It's about consistently choosing your goals over distractions, over doubts, over the opinions of others. The truth is, your goals won't be achieved by waiting for the perfect conditions. They won't be achieved by reacting to every curveball life throws your way. They will only be achieved by focusing on them relentlessly, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it feels like you're not seeing results fast enough. Every small step you take toward your goals matters. Every bit of focus you bring to them compounds over time. And that's how you make progress. You must also realize that the people around you won't always understand your focus. They won't always see the bigger picture that you're working toward. They may question your commitment, your choices, your priorities, but none of that matters. What matters is what you see when you look at your goals. What matters is the clarity of your vision and your ability to stay true to it. You don't need anyone's approval. You don't need to explain yourself. You just need to keep moving forward. Focus doesn't mean ignoring the world completely. It doesn't mean cutting yourself off from people or experiences. It simply means knowing where your attention should go. It means being able to distinguish between what's worth your time and what's not. You learn to say no without guilt. You learn to prioritize what's important and let everything else fade into the background. In practice, this might look like setting boundaries around your time. It might mean saying no to social events that don't align with your goals. It could mean blocking out time each day to work on your projects, even if that means saying no to immediate gratification. It could mean cutting out habits that waste your time and replacing them with habits that align with your vision. Every decision you make, no matter how small, either brings you closer to your goals or takes you further away. When you start thinking of every action in terms of how it serves your goals, it becomes easier to stay focused. It's also important to understand that not every moment will be filled with intense focus. There will be times when you need rest, recovery, and reflection. This is part of the process. The key is balance. When it's time to work, give your full attention to the task at hand. When it's time to rest, allow yourself to recharge without guilt. By knowing when to push and when to pause, you ensure that you stay productive without burning out. When your mind is trained to focus only on your goals, you stop reacting to every external event. You stop allowing other people's opinions, mistakes, and drama to dictate how you feel and how you act. Instead, you become proactive. You become the one who sets the course for your day, your week, your year. You decide what you focus on and what you let go of. And that's when you truly start making progress. The most successful people are not those who are the most talented or the most gifted. They are the ones who have learned how to focus, day in and day out, on their goals. They are the ones who understand that success is not about doing everything. It's about doing the right things, consistently. When you train your mind to focus on what matters most, you create a life that's built around purpose, not distractions. You create a life where you are in control, where your goals become inevitable, and that's when you know you're on the path to success.